internship was at an organization called Imagination Celebration, and Imagination Celebration has been around in Colorado Springs. Can you all hear me if I don't use the mic? Are we in? Okay. It's been around in the Springs for almost 30 years. It really has a legacy in Colorado Springs. But one of my roles with Imagination Celebration was to help kind of reinvent what our goals were as an organization and really reinvent. Originally, Imagination Celebration was very much focused on art and children, and so now we're really pushing past that to focus more on creativity and big ideas and really open up Imagination Celebration for all age groups, not just children. So that's really part of what my internship was like, and it was unlike a lot of what you've heard before, where people were very much in school settings and still teaching children and that sort of thing. I did something very different. So my initial goals and what we had originally thought my internship would be was to further the mission of the What If Festival that Imagination Celebration puts on every year. It is a festival that we do downtown, September 10th this year, if you are in town and interested. The festival seeks to promote innovative thinking, creativity, really opening up creativity to everyone, not just people who think they're artists or that they're born creative. And really to promote a growth mindset in the community is what one of our main goals was. And so, probably some of you have heard the term growth mindset or heard about mindsets. I know MATs and probably some teachers have, but I'll give you a little brief summary. So growth mindset, or growth and fixed mindset, is a concept created by a researcher named Carol Dweck, who I'm sure some of you will learn about. She came out with a book called Mindset in 2006. And so basically with new brain research, we now know that the brain is plastic. It can always change and grow throughout your whole life, not just in adolescence, as was previously thought. So the consequence of that is either people realize that the brain can change and grow and so you can improve your intelligence and abilities, or people still think that their intelligence and abilities are a fixed entity, that they won't be able to improve it, so however smart you were born, that's how smart you're going to be for the rest of your life. And this has an enormous impact on how you interact in school and life and relationships, how you approach challenges, if you have a setback or a failure, how you deal with that. It changes how much effort you put into things, all that sort of thing. So, growth and fixed mindset, and we're really interested in promoting a growth mindset because that means that you're eager to grow, eager to engage in the learning process, to try new things, to put an effort into things, and so we felt like growth mindset is a concept that we really wanted to marry with the What If Festival, and it was very much integrated with the What If Festival, but we just wanted to kind of weed that out and figure out how to better promote a growth mindset in the community. And you may be saying, so what does growth mindset have to do with this arts organization? But really and I say we as Imagination Celebration, we want to promote creativity more than art. So it's not just doing a drawing or painting or sculpture. Creativity is really found in almost everything that you do in your life, and so we want people to break down that barrier of creativity and see that they are creative in many areas of their life and make creativity a much more approachable topic, because I think oftentimes people think that you're either creative or you're not creative. Either I can draw a portrait or I draw a stick figure sort of thing, and we want to break that barrier. So that was the initial goal, and we had originally thought that I was going to be promoting the What If Festival and furthering that idea with a blog was the original idea, but it changed. So my initial internship was set up that I spent 4 days a week in our Imagination Celebration office in Manitou and 1 day in our community area at the Citadel Mall. It's called iSpace. And so initially I was all about making connections and doing research and furthering our understanding of how growth mindset connected to the goals and what Imagination Celebration was really about. I just put a little example. I was sorting through all this information. I think I read 6 or 8 books, and I was trying to bring all this stuff together, and I was, both Deborah and I were very confused and trying to sort it all out. So this is a line that I made of trying to make sense of all these connections and really process through this information. How is growth mindset related to creativity, which is related to imagination and fostering imagination in students, which leads to creativity, which leads to innovation, which leads to divergent thinking. All these big ideas, and how as an organization are we going to condense this into something that we can give to people or something that people can experience. So a lot of my work during the internship was doing research and making sense of the research. Additionally, and something that we kind of progressed with during the internship was not so much how can we teach a growth mindset and teach the goals of imagination celebration through a blog, but we ended up deciding that maybe the point where the organization is now is much more teaching mindset and our goals of creativity and that sort of thing in individual pieces throughout the community, and hopefully changing the mindset of a community in that way through smaller pieces. So I was involved in a lot of different programs. One was the College Readiness program, which is a program here in the Springs that's targeting at-risk students at lower income schools around town, students who may not have opportunities for, or may not even know about what they can do after high school. So getting them ready for college, preparing them, giving them both opportunities and knowledge about what they can do next. And so I did a session with, I want to say it was probably 30 students total at the Air Force Academy about mindset and why it's so important to have a growth mindset. I also taught the Leadership Council, which is it's a small council that Imagination Celebration hosts every month of kind of movers and shakers and leaders in our community. We have people from banks, from music, and the whole range from arts organizations. We bring all together and we talk about what's going on in the community, what maybe needs to change, what we're interested in, that sort of thing. And so I gave a presentation about mindset to the Leadership Council. I also gave a quick presentation of mindset to Imagination Celebration's Board of Directors, which I am now part of. And one of the biggest things was creation of what we call the Summer Teachers Institute, which I'll get into a little bit later, but I gave a presentation about growth mindset to 30 teachers in our local area that came to the institute. And then also just speaking about growth mindset to the volunteers and employees at the iSpace, which is the community open center at the Citadel Mall. And so if you're ever at the Citadel, I encourage you to check it out. It's really pretty innovative and cool, and definitely open and go look at it. So educating the volunteers and the employees at iSpace to better further the goals and what Imagination Celebration's mission really was. So they got a better understanding of growth mindset and how that relates. Also, I did a lot with building community. My second day, Deborah was like, great, we're going to a diversity summit. So we went to this diversity summit at UCCS, and it was a whole day. They brought in speakers from all over, and we talked about what the role of educators are and students, what different roles are in promoting diversity, and both at UCCS and also in our community. And so I think what I really gained from the Diversity Summit was learning how to best fit our programs into a very diverse population of people, and how to better target areas in the Springs that might not be receiving support or might not be receiving the same programs that a lot of other areas of the Springs are receiving. So that really opened my eyes up to a lot of issues around diversity. Also, how do we structure our language and how we talk about our programs, and how does that relate to a diverse population of people we're trying to target. I also was able to take part in this thing called Community Built Association. It was brought in by Steve Wood, who runs Concrete Couch. Some of you are aware of that. And so it was a lot of speakers from all around the country, people who were experienced in community art projects, and they came and talked to our community about how to better serve our community and how to start enacting community art projects. So this picture is of a Mosaic mural that I helped work on. It's down at the Pikes Peak Library, just downtown, so if you want to check it out, it's pretty amazing. So we started, it's been a process that Concrete Couch has been working on for a long time, but I helped pound on a concrete wall for 3 hours. So that was fun. It was, but that also helped both me and also Imagination Celebration, not only just the mosaics, but the sessions that we went to and the speakers that we heard from helped us better shape our understanding of our relationship with the community and what really maybe the community needs from us. So Summer Teachers Institute. Summer Teachers Institute is, we had about 30 teachers this year, and it was really a program designed to both educate teachers about creative thinking, STEAM, not STEM, so if you guys haven't heard of those code words, STEAM is, or STEM is like science, technology, math, engineering, that's the other one. And STEAM, the argument for turning STEM into STEAM is bringing art into all those subjects, and there's such a push for STEM in our schools, but the argument is that we also need to bring art into that to promote creative thinking, to promote critical thinking, problem solving, innovation, all those things. So we talked about why it's better to promote STEAM, not STEM. We learned about visual thinking strategies, which you may have learned about already, or maybe you will be learning about it. I'm sure Chris will be teaching it. But that's all about how do we observe, critically observe and closely observe while supporting our students, especially supporting students and their different experiences and perspectives coming into the classroom and validating all student perspectives. We taught teachers, we had Manya Whitaker come and do a session on culturally responsive pedagogy. And so also learning about that and how to be better teachers, and also we wanted the teachers really to feel supported in what they were doing. I think a lot of teachers get caught up in filling all the standards and following the right curriculum and doing all these things right, and so we wanted to celebrate teachers, give them resources to further their instruction and their teaching strategies, and to introduce them to new concepts that they might not have already known about. So I did a concept on growth, or I did a session on growth mindset, but also helped schedule and really plan the Summer Teachers Institute, which just happened last week. So that, I think, turned out really successful. I ended up having to write my actual research paper during part of it, but that was more important, I guess. But yeah, it turned out great. And I really found that we were able to teach growth mindset to these teachers and also all these other concepts, and that was a very effective way. And now these teachers can take what they learned at the Summer Teachers Institute and deliver it in their classrooms. So an effective way of promoting growth mindset, but maybe not through what we had traditionally thought as a blog. But I did work on a blog for the Summer Teachers Institute. So other opportunities that I, just real quick, I helped further research how to maybe implement the upcoming What If, what new things that we wanted to bring in, how do we want to restructure the What If Festival to maybe better promote a growth mindset this year, and just helped Deborah and Imagination Celebration brainstorm ways that they could better integrate growth mindset into their programs, how we can talk about growth mindset and what we already do as an organization to ask for grants and grant money and more support for the organization. I was able to make a ton of connections with people in the community. I attended an arts business education luncheon, which is a lot of business people and arts educators that came together. They have a luncheon every year, but it was a great opportunity to meet new people. I got to meet a lot of teachers in the district I'll be teaching in next year. And I also just met tons of local artists and different people in the community that I think I'm able to now reach out to if I need to in the coming school year. One person I met was Mark Wong, who's who's a well-known ceramicist who lives in Manitou, and we talked about maybe bringing him into my classroom to do demonstrations as a guest artist to come into the classroom, but just making different connections around town. Main benefits to Imagination Celebration is for the internship, I helped them further their understanding of growth mindset, of creative and divergent thinking, of neuroplasticity, and how our brains develop at different ages, all these sorts of things. So I was really able to sit down and do the hard work, and then we were able to come up with concepts that we can then apply to for the programs that we're going to do at Imagination Celebration. And we really critically looked at all the programs that Imagination Celebration is already a part of, and helped examine where we were supporting growth mindset, maybe where we needed to change some things to better support a growth mindset. And then benefits to me as an educator, I furthered my understanding of growth mindset and its role in the classroom. Growth mindset is what I've been studying for my thesis, but by the time I started at Imagination Celebration, I definitely had some burnout and was not that excited about mindset anymore. But it's like really not excited. But after really learning and being able to study growth mindset much more in depth and its relationship to the art classroom, to how we teach our students, to how we're going to create innovators in the classroom, all these different things, I am now really excited about it, and I foresee myself bringing it into the classroom and into my teaching as a part of just daily classroom learning. I gained a much better understanding of art and community art in the local community, and how I can better connect with people and how I can support community art. So that was something that I definitely didn't know about before, but now I see myself maybe bringing my students and connecting them with different community leaders, and how can we create partnerships and that sort of thing. And I did a ton of networking, and now I feel like I know a lot more people to connect with my teaching, and maybe doing some partnerships between my students and community members. And I just gained a better understanding of my teaching pedagogy and what I really believe to be most important with teaching art. I came from a co-teaching experience that was very much teaching art for art's sake. And now I think I have a much better understanding of what art means, and critical thinking and problem solving, and bringing all these bigger concepts and I think more important concepts, not more important than art, but really understanding how art furthers all these different things, not just doing art because art is pretty. So that's pretty much my spiel. Are there any questions? Yeah?
I just saw that everything evolved as it went along, and changed and morphed into something that seemed to be even better than what it was. And I sense there's a great deal of growth in you as well.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. I think I have gained in my understanding of art, in my understanding of how students' brains are growing and how we can best support students as educators, and my understanding of the role of art and creativity in our community. And that was one thing I was going to mention. If this becomes an internship opportunity next summer, I doubt that it's going to be the same as what I did now. Mine was very time specific, and although I would definitely support and promote an internship, I would just say be aware that it might take its own path. Definitely requires some flexibility, but that's a good thing. I learned a lot. So, any more questions? Go for it.
How did you handle being on one path, thinking this is what I'm going to do, and being excited, and then being like burnt out with it? How did you deal with that transition?
That's a good question. I think originally I had gone into it being like, okay, I'm done with my co-teaching, and now I just have to get through this internship and do this, and then I'm done, and then I work on my paper, and then I'm almost done with this program. Just because I think at that point you're pretty exhausted. But one of the ways that I dealt with that transition was just, and I'm not even sure this was really conscious of me as a way of dealing, but I really started reading, and especially reading about art and how that's one of my passions, obviously, and how that connects to all these different things. And really I just gained a new excitement for the whole concept and gained an excitement for what we're doing in the community and that sort of thing. So I'm not sure I ever consciously processed through that transition, but I think I gained a lot of information and really renewed my excitement as I went along. Nick, did you have a question?
I guess besides being on the board now, are you going to continue to be involved with this organization, even working actively next year?
Oh yeah, yes. Well, obviously I will be involved as part of the board, but I hope to, what I really want to do with, and I'm teaching at Liberty High School in District 20 next year as a ceramics teacher. So what I really foresee myself trying to do is to connect the community with students in some way, whether that's bringing the community into the classroom in that way or bringing the students out into the community. And I foresee Imagination Celebration definitely being a part of that. But I think it's so important to see how art impacts our community and build that relationship, not just doing art in the classroom as your thing you do from 11 to 12 every day. So really kind of branching out, I hope to see in the future. More questions?
Well, I just want to say that I very much appreciate the connection that you made, the sentence at the end about being a teacher, not just an art teacher, and how your subject area will be a great resource for all the other teachers in the school.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Spanish teacher will want to know what you're doing, and you know, the history teacher, and it's great that you see yourself as an interconnected kind of person, because I think that's super important.
Yeah, and I think art has a way of supporting, say, problem solving. We problem solve in art, but that builds skills in students that they take to math, to science, to reading, to all these different areas. And not just problem solving, metacognition, critical thinking, close observation, all those sorts of things. So yeah, there's definitely integration for sure.